In today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the Mattel DC Comics Multiverse, the Build-A-Figure Collect and Connect Justice Buster. Over the series of two separate videos, two separate collections of videos, the first half we did the first three figures of Series 1 of the Multiverse, and then the second wave, which just wrapped up, we watched or had a look at the second wave of figures to finally build the very impressive, I must say, Justice Buster. I wish they actually had paired the set just as one series of 6 figures rather than breaking it up, but I mean that's Mattel's decision. Certainly Marvel Legends have been doing that for a while, where they've split a wave and left collectors, waiting for the second wave to come around before they could finally build whatever Collect and Connect or whatever Build-A-Figure that line was for. At any rate, the Build-A-Figure Collect and Connect Justice Buster is now finished. Let's have a look at the figure itself. I like it. Initially, I didn't care for it because it just felt really light. It still does feel light, but I think it makes for a good sized figure. By size, let's say 0 Hour Batman in, which I seem to always have a tough time getting him to properly stand. But there he is next to the Justice Buster. He really only goes to about the elbow point of the Justice Buster, maybe just even a little bit taller, almost, if you count the points of the ears, the cowl almost to the point of his shoulders. So Justice Buster is still a good little bit higher, about a third of a figure taller than the other figures in this wave. His primary color is kind of a silver, a light grayish silver. He's got some dark accents of this dark gray in the torso here, but that's more of a black. But he's got darker areas of the gray around areas of like the socket areas of the legs. The feet are this kind of darker gray, and he's got some little accent areas there on his palms, or on his fists. The fists are sadly molded shut. I guess they convey a more powerful presence by having the Justice Buster with clenched fists. I wish he had had some open palms or something instead, but clearly they just went for the route of giving him one molded fist, very hollow, but at least just still got posability in the arms, and rotation and stuff like that. The face, or if you want to call it the face, very bird-like. These little top flaps here are rubbery plastic as well. The not as soft, but the little spikes also on its shoulders are the rubbery plastic. I think what really had me worried about the figure was that, if you remember the first wave, we got only the fists and only this area right here. And because this is just a soft piece of plastic that goes over top of the main torso, as opposed to it being joined like a half and half, this just ended up feeling really soft, really flimsy. I didn't quite know how everything was going to come together, and sure enough, the torso stops around there. So all of this is just attached over top of that torso by a peg point. The face is nice though, or head is nice. It kind of reminds me of that creepy owl from Scooby-Doo. Remember that one out in the woods? It was that Native American spirit. I can't even remember what it's called now. I'm sure it'll come to me later. The blue piercing eyes, and it's got some darker blue outlines around those eye areas. It's a very short, narrow, or thinner looking head. You can see how it kind of goes further back, almost like a disc. And some accent areas there on the head as well. I like that they put dents in the armor, as opposed to it being a pristine looking armor. You can see little scratches and indentations into the armor where it's been battling. Presumably maybe rockets on the back there of its torso. It's a good looking figure. Again, not the heaviest of figures, but it's not bad. We got a bat emblem on the torso area there as well. I do like it. I would actually want to get a couple of these. Of course, not picking up another 6 figures. I probably would just go on eBay and see if I can get another one of these, but I like the figure. I do like the overall look and feel of the figure. It doesn't feel as flimsy or as, I don't know, I was really worried getting this guy all together that just was going to feel like a mess. It doesn't feel as much of a mess, but it does feel light. Posability on Justice Buster. His head is on a very nice ball joint. Shoulders hinge out, forward and back, not restricted at all by this rubbery, and I guess maybe that's why they went the route they did of making this just a cap of sorts that went over top of the torso. Bend in the elbow, rotation in the wrists. Even has a top crunch, which is a nice touch. I like that they would have included that. No waist swivel, of course, because this is just all sculpt here. Hinged legs, ball joint legs. Hinged, very nice hinge on the knee. No swiveling or anything like that, but the swivel technically is at the top of the thigh where you can rotate that leg. Also no posability in the bottom of the feet, but you get enough going for him that you can get some pretty good poses out of him. He doesn't stand the best because he does have very, very small feet. Because he has such a small footprint, you always kind of have to have the legs on a very flat surface. You can't really have the legs slightly pivoted forward because there is no ankle pivot. That ultimately just means the figure's going to fall over. So you ultimately have to kind of keep the legs more straight, keep the legs or the feet completely flush, flat, both flat, and then you can kind of just do a little bit of maneuvering with the arms. Not a bad looking figure though. Took 6 figures to build, and now we finally have built it. I think it actually turned out pretty good, all things considered. Today's Toy Spot, we were having a look at the final figure, so technically it was the Build-A-Figure Collect and Connect figure of the DC Comics Multiverse. We're looking today at Justice Buster. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more videos heading your way. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.